Long ago, before loudspeakers ruled the night, and wristbands decided enjoyment, celebration moved at a gentler rhythm. In those days, when the year was slowly packing its bags and preparing to leave, women did not rush. They did not count down days with anxiety or ask where the hottest place in town was. Instead, they gathered in small groups, under mango trees and beside clay kitchens, and asked one simple but powerful question: who go bring canopy? That question alone carried joy. Once the canopy arrived, celebration had already begun. Not tomorrow. Not next week. That very moment. Because the canopy was more than cloth and poles, it was a promise that nobody would be alone. Wrappers were tight around waist, layered with pride and confidence. Coolers were balanced on heads like royal crowns, steady and graceful. Women moved with purpose, their laughter rising like music even before the drums were beaten. Food was cooked with boldness, rice that could feed angels and unexpected guests, soup with enough pepper to humble pride and still beg for more, smoke rose from firewood like prayers reaching the sky. Children became town criers. They ran barefoot, voices loud and joyful, shouting, "Rice done ready, oh oh," as if they had announced a miracle. Everybody laughed. Under the canopy, nobody checked status. Nobody asked questions. Rich or poor, old or young, known or unknown, once you stepped inside, you belonged. If you arrived late, you were still served first. If you danced like your bones were arguing with each other, nobody laughed at you. Instead, they clapped louder. Plastic chairs were arranged anyhow, yet everything felt perfectly in place. Elders nodded slowly, satisfied. Mothers wiped sweat from their brows and smiled with fulfillment. Even the air felt kinder beneath the canopy. This was not a celebration meant to impress. It was a celebration meant to connect. Joy was not private, joy was shared, joy was passed from hand to hand like a bowl of food. In those days, celebration did not ask who you were, it simply welcomed you home. Those women did not dance to impress anyone, they danced to release. There was no mirror to check, no camera to pose for, no audience to please. They danced because life had allowed them to see another year standing on their feet. They danced because their children were alive and running around, calling their names. They danced because sickness had tried but failed. Because hunger had knocked but did not stay. Because, this year, Walla did not win. Their bodies moved the way stories move, freely and honestly. Wrappers loosened as the night went on. Shoulders shook. Feet stamped the ground as if reminding the earth that they were still here. Sweat mixed with laughter, and nobody was ashamed of it. There was gossip, yes, but it was warm gossip, the kind that wraps truth in laughter and releases it gently. One woman would point mid-dance and shout, "NN. See, as Momankechi they dance like small pikin." Momankechi would laugh without stopping, waving her hand in mock anger, "Abeg leave me joy, no enjoyment we come do." And the circle would burst into louder laughter, drums beating harder, feet stamping faster. Nobody counted calories. Nobody counted time. Plates were passed around carelessly, hands dipping into food between dances. A woman could dance, eat, laugh, and return to the circle without explanation. Joy did not need permission. As night slowly settled, lanterns were lit. Their soft glow rested on tired but happy faces. Children, finally exhausted, slept on laps or plastic chairs. Elders nodded slowly, satisfied, watching the women with quiet pride. By the time people began to leave, bodies were tired but hearts were full. Not the kind of tiredness that drains the soul, but the kind that comes after honest happiness. Women walked home slowly, slippers dragging on the ground, still laughing at jokes that were no longer funny but still sweet. Celebration did not empty them, it did not borrow joy from tomorrow, it filled them completely, with gratitude, with connection, with the simple relief of having lived another year and lived it together. Then time moved forward. Gen Z mamas arrived, stylish, bold, beautiful, and tired. They were not tired because they were weak. They were tired because life moved fast and demanded too much. Bills waited for no one. Deadlines chased them. Expectations followed them everywhere, online and offline. When the year ends now, nobody talks about canopy. Nobody asks who is cooking or who is coming together. The question is sharp and simple: which club hot pass? Enjoyment has a location now. Heels are bought weeks before December. Wigs are laid with precision. Outfits are planned down to the last detail. Phones are charged fully, not for calls, but for content. Photos are imagined before joy even begins. A Gen Z mama looks at herself in the mirror and sighs, "After this year way stress me, no Club Street." I know one here story. Another nods in agreement while adjusting her lashes, "Correct. We go dance all the pain come out." And they mean it. Because dancing, for them, is survival. Noise is medicine. Movement is escape. Under flashing lights, with music shaking the walls, they hope the year's weight will finally fall off their shoulders. They arrive at the club in groups but quickly dissolve into the crowd. Faces glow under neon lights. Bodies move to beats chosen by someone they've never met. Drinks are lifted. Glasses clink. Laughter bursts out loud, but does not always go deep. They celebrate surrounded by strangers who don't know their names, their struggles, or their stories, but know the DJ and the lyrics to the song. In that dark room, nobody asks how your year truly went. Nobody knows what you survived. And for a moment, that feels like freedom, yet beneath the dancing and shouting is a quiet truth: these women are not careless. They are coping. They are choosing joy the fastest way they know how. This is not rebellion, it is exhaustion dressed in beauty, it is strength asking for relief. The Gen Z mamas are not running from joy, they are running toward it, hoping the night will give them what the year could not. At the club, music is loud, so loud it shakes the walls, so loud it enters the body before the mind. But happiness is short. The bass drops. Lights flash. Smoke rises. For a moment, everybody feels powerful. Phones are lifted immediately. Angles are checked. Videos are recorded before the joy has even settled. Everybody is recording. Nobody is resting. One Gen Z mama dances with fire, hips moving like she practiced at home. She laughs loudly, hair flying, hands in the air. 10 minutes later, she sits down heavily, breathing hard, phone in hand, refreshing likes. "Did you post mine? Tag me. Oh. Why my video no clear?" Joy pauses, waiting for validation. Another woman waves down a waiter, her voice sharp above the music. "Who buy this drink? I beg reduce the bill, this thing no match my budget." They laugh, but their laughter has edges. Time moves strangely in the club. Minutes feel long. Hours disappear. Drinks keep coming. Bills keep growing. Music never stops, even when bodies are tired. By 3 a.m., heels are off. They are kicked under tables or carried by hand like defeated trophies. Makeup shines too much. Smiles are stretched thin. Legs ache. Heads pound. The same song that felt powerful at midnight now sounds like noise. Joy becomes expensive. Entry fee. Drinks. Transport. Touch-ups. Data to upload. And still, something feels incomplete. Someone will shout happily, "This night mad oh." Others will agree loudly, "Mad oh. Mad." But inside, each woman feels it. That quiet pause between songs. That empty space when the music drops for a second. That question nobody says out loud: why does all this noise still feel lonely? Around them are hundreds of people, yet nobody truly sees them. Strangers dance close, shout lyrics together, then disappear forever. No one asks how the year truly treated you. No one knows what you survived before stepping into those heels. The club promises escape, not connection. It gives excitement, not rest. It offers distraction, not healing. As dawn slowly approaches, some women sit quietly, staring into half-finished drinks. Phones are still recording, but energy is gone. The body came to celebrate, but the soul is still waiting. This is the funny truth about club celebration. It looks full, sounds full, costs plenty, yet often leaves the heart hungry. And though the night was loud and beautiful, deep down, she knows something important never arrived, something the music could not provide. One evening, as the sun slowly folded itself into the sky, a grandmother sat quietly on a wooden chair near the window. The room smelled faintly of powder and perfume. Across from her, her daughter moved back and forth, preparing for another end-of-year party. Clothes were spread on the bed. Shoes waited by the door. A wig sat proudly on a stand like a crown waiting to be worn. Music played softly from a phone, testing the mood of the night before it truly began. The old woman watched everything without speaking. She smiled, then she shook her head gently, the way people do when memory knocks softly on the heart. In our time, she said at last, her voice low but steady, we celebrated to remember who we were. Her daughter paused, lipstick halfway to her lips, caught between the mirror and the words. The old woman continued, eyes distant but clear. She spoke of days when celebration meant gathering, not escaping. When women laughed without checking mirrors. When joy was not planned for strangers, but shared with people who knew your name, your story, your struggles. You people celebrate, she added quietly, to forget who you are. The words hung in the air, heavy but calm. The daughter laughed, shaking her head as she reached for her phone. Mama, I beg, times don't change. Life hard now. We need enjoyment. The grandmother nodded slowly. Yes, she said, times don't change. She leaned forward, resting her hands on her knees, but happiness still they hide for the same place. She spoke of happiness that does not shout. Happiness that does not need permission or payment. Happiness that sits under shared roofs and simple conversations. Happiness that comes when people see you fully, without lights or filters. When celebration finish, the old woman asked softly, "Waiting remain for your heart?" The daughter did not answer immediately. Her reflection stared back at her from the mirror, beautiful and ready, but suddenly thoughtful. The old woman smiled again, not with judgment, but with understanding. She knew the weight her daughter carried. She knew the world had changed. But she also knew that joy, real joy, had not moved, it had only become quieter. As the daughter picked up her bag and moved toward the door, the grandmother added one final sentence, almost like a prayer, anywhere people remember each other, joy go always find road reach there. And for the first time that evening, the room felt fuller than the party waiting outside. This story is not told to shame Gen Z mamas, it is not a finger pointed in judgment, it is a reminder spoken with care. These women are strong women, carrying heavy lives on their backs. They wake up every day to pressure, expectations, and responsibilities that do not rest. They are not weak. They are surviving in a fast world that demands too much and pauses for no one. The old women celebrated with canopies and connection. Their joy was built on togetherness, shared food, and familiar faces. Celebration was not an escape from life, but a moment to remember it and give thanks. The new women celebrate with clubs and escape. Their joy is loud, fast, and bright. It is meant to silence stress, forget pain, and breathe for a moment in a crowded world. Neither generation is wrong, they are simply responding to the word they were given. Wisdom lives in the space between both words. Wisdom understands that progress should not erase community. That modern life may move quickly, but the human heart still longs for belonging, warmth, and connection that money and noise cannot buy. Maybe the future celebration will mix both worlds, music and meaning, enjoyment and togetherness, a celebration where people can dance and still sit together. Where laughter is shared, not performed. Where joy is felt deeply, not rushed. Where memories are made, not just recorded for strangers to see. Because joy that ends in emptiness is not joy at all, and happiness that forgets connection does not last. True celebration should heal, not drain. It should leave you fuller than when you arrived, full of gratitude, memories, and the comfort of being seen. No matter how times change, the heart still knows where home is. True celebration is not where you go, it is who you share it with.
Hope you didn't forget to subscribe, and you should also like and share. Bye!